All right, students, I wanted to do a quick overview of how to complete the scavenger hunt assignment in case you didn't have a chance to finish it in class. So here I am in Schoology. The first thing I want to do is make this half of my screen so that it's a little easier to work on the assignment. So if I click on these little squares, click that arrow button and hold, then it'll snap this to half of my screen. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start a new attempt for this assignment. Now the first thing I need to do is open the virtual biology book. So over here in mybbsd.org in the portal, I can go down to where it says Savas EasyBridge to log in. Then if I click this down arrow, I have this button for Miller and Levine Biology. That's where I want to be. This is our online book. So I'm going to click Browse right here. And then it's got an option for us to look at the e-text. So let's do that up here, e-text. And the book will look something like this. All right, then it looks like we're going to take a look at the table of contents. So if I look up here under menu, looks like my table of contents is the first thing. So I can click on that. Then it asks me how many chapters are in the book. So if I scroll down, I can see, 27 chapters. So I know the answer to the first one is 27. Then it asks me to click on Unit 1, the nature of science. So I will do that. And it asks me here in Unit 1, how many chapters are in this unit. So it looks like as I look through Nature of Science, Unit 1, there's 1, 2, just 2 chapters in this unit. All right, then it says open chapter 1 in that biology book. So let's click there to go to chapter number 1. Awesome, I'm going to close the table of contents so it's out of my way. And now we're going to click here on lessons. I can click on this button here to have the audio read aloud by me. That's pretty cool. It asks me what is lesson 1.1 called. 1.1, it's called What is Science? Then I need to open up lesson 1.1, take a look at these 9 vocab terms, and it asks me about an inference. So here's an inference. Click on that, a logical interpretation based on prior knowledge and experience. So I know that that is my correct answer for an inference. Then it asks, you can look at the next button at the bottom of the page and hit it for a few times until we see this reading tool at the top. So we click next again. Awesome, so now I see where it says reading tool right here. It's kind of cool, I could click this play button and it could read this to me, or I can just look through and find the answers for myself. So it asks me about the difference between quantitative and qualitative data. So if I scroll through this a little bit, I see some stuff about questions, hypotheses, controlled experiments, then some stuff on collecting and analyzing data. That's probably going to be helpful. Here I see quantitative data are numbers obtained by counting or measuring. And down here it says qualitative data are descriptive and involve characteristics that cannot usually be measured. So over here I can see quantitative, counted and measuring, qualitative, descriptive. All right, now we're going to look up at the glossary. So I'm going to click here on menu again and go over here to AZ glossary. So I can go ahead and click over here with the C for cells, scroll down to where I see cell and the basic unit of all forms of life. Awesome. All right, navigate your way to the table of contents to figure out which unit covers ecology. Close that, table of contents. Let's scroll down until we see ecology. Ooh, looks like unit 2 is all about ecology. Unit number 2. Then it asks me to open up unit 3. So unit 3 cells, which chapter covers structure and function. Looks like chapter 8 is the one in cell structure and function. Then from the table of contents, open unit 3 cells. There's a short video you can watch. Try it out. All right, so Unit 3, cells. Let's find this video they speak of. All right, so I can click this to play.
Energy. It's what makes the world go round. Machines that use the energy in fuels like coal and oil powered the Industrial Revolution, generated electricity to light whole cities, and made the modern world possible. We still use the energy in fuels like gasoline and diesel to power the cars and trucks that make today's mobile lifestyles possible. But where does the energy in those fuels come from? The short answer is that it comes right out of the ground. Many countries, including the United States, have reserves of oil and natural gas that can be processed or refined into the fuels that power our vehicles. These fuels are non-renewable. We can run out of them. This is because the reserves of these fuels are limited. Even though we keep inventing ways to extract more and more of them, sooner or later, those reserves will be exhausted. So what can we do? First, think about where the energy in those fuels came from. Coal, oil, and natural gas were formed over millions of years as the bodies of ancient plants and animals were buried and decayed. That's why today we call them fossil fuels. So these living things contain the stored chemical energy we use for fuel today. But where did they get their energy from? If they were animals, they got it from food they ate. Much of that food, of course, consisted of plants. But where do those plants get their energy from? Look up into the sky, and you'll see the answer. It's the sun. In one way or another, energy from the sun powers just about every living thing on Earth. That was true in the past as well, and that's where the energy in fossil fuels comes from. So, can we think of a way to use living organisms today to produce a continuous supply of the energy we need? Can we use the energy of the sun as one of the alternatives to replace fossil fuels like gasoline with biofuels made by living things? To make this work, we first would have to understand how living things capture the energy of sunlight and convert it into chemical form. Then we have to figure out which organisms do this the best and how they can be run in a way that produces as much usable fuel as possible. Finally, we have to devise a method to harvest that fuel and convert it into a form that can take the place of fossil fuels. Are you ready for the challenge?
That video had a great amount of background information, and we can see from that plants do use water and air. All right, so if we go to the top now, there's this search button. Let's type in the word ecology. So every single time that ecology comes up in the book, it'll pop up here. And it looks like there's 21 search results. So I know ecology comes up 21 times in this book. We made it to the last question. So for this last question, we just need to do some matching. So I'm going to use the glossary for this. I think it's helpful. My first word is observation. So let's go down to O and then scroll to observation. First one looks like process of noticing and describing events or processes in a careful, orderly way. So I know that that is going to be on mine, E. My next word is hypothesis. So I'll go over to H for hypothesis and scroll down to hypothesis. Looks like possible explanation for a set of observations or possible answers to a scientific question. So it looks like possible explanation. For me, that's A. Then I'll look for controlled experiment. Here's C. Let's look down for controlled experiment. Mine is experiment which only one variable is changed. All right, looks like for me that is H. Then I need to go with independent variable. Independent variable right here. Factor in a controlled experiment that's deliberately changed. Looks like for me that's G. Then I got dependent variable, D for dependent variable. That's the one that is observed and that changes in response to the independent variable. Looks like changes in response, that one for me is B. Next one is control group. Here under C, let's look for control group. Group in the experiment that is exposed to the same conditions as the experimental group except for one independent variable. So, that looks like D for me. There's two more to go. My next one is data, so I click on D. Evidence information gathered, so it looks like F for me. And last but not least, T for theory. This one has a different definition in biology than it does in everyday language. So in this case, it's a well-tested explanation that unifies a broad range of observations and hypotheses. For me, that is C. All right, we did it. Let's review our answers, and now we know how to use the online book.